Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And yes, there's coffee in that nebula. All right. And I do want to say welcome to Morning Coffee. Now, I do want to welcome Gap Stargate. And I do want to thank you for encouraging people or welcoming people and encouraging them to hit the like button, as well as sharing out the channel. Bonjour, 47 Yorktown. And, of course, 47 Yorktown says, hashtag Janeway did nothing wrong. Mega Cropper says, afternoon, Captain Trek and crew. Good afternoon, Mega Cropper. How are you? I hope you're doing well today. Just sitting here drinking coffee, as usual. On Twitter, where somebody was bitching about Star Trek fans who didn't like the new stuff. And Rerun Trading. Good morning. How are you today? Rerum Trading, excuse me. And Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Good morning. And what is going on, everyone? It is Easter Sunday here. Unfortunately, the kids will be here soon, so I don't know how long I'm going to be going. I did go ahead and schedule for a later time, not knowing the kids were going to be coming over. Otherwise, I would have scheduled earlier. And let's get back to the chat. Oh, wait a minute. I do want to share this out real quick. Get it shared out on Twitter and Facebook, which I do have connected to my new account, which is Captain Trek Archives over there on Facebook. And let's get back in the chat here. And Mexican Iron Man, happy Easter. How are you today? I'm figuring you're going to be busy today and tomorrow. Because you got taxes. Rose is making lamb for traditional Easter dinner. I don't know how traditional is that in your family, just out of curiosity. And Rico Zorro, cheers and good morning. How are you? Let me go ahead, see if there we go. do that real quick just to see if they're available. And let's see here. Send out another one to someone else. And I got some potential guests coming on this next week, so I don't know who's going to be on necessarily or when, but we'll find out. And getting back to the stream. Good morning, John Smith. How are you? Kapla Berta Prey 5. I don't know if you're available this morning, but Bird, you're more than welcome to come up. Mexican Iron Man, I sent you an invite just in case you're available. And same with you, Gap Stargate. And good morning, the lovely Sherry. How are you this morning? John Smith says, I'm watching PooTube on my smart TV. I can't like or post, but I'll still watch. Actually, there's usually a way you can like. I don't remember how it is. It's a little complicated. As far as posting, yeah, that's a different story. And I know some you can't, some you can. It all depends. And people saying hello to each other, which is always great. So does anyone have any Easter plans today? I can say that not really any big Easter plans here. Like I said, the kids are coming over. They're going to have a hunt. Each child gets their own room that stuff has been hidden in. That way there is no finding stuff that was meant for the other kids. So it makes it easier that way. I can go online through the TV, but it's pain using a controller type. Yeah, I understand that. And good morning, Resolute Germ. I knew you meant pain. I read pen first, and I realized you meant pain. Let's see here. Dr. Scotty says, wow, Captain Trek, you're almost at 700 subs. Very cool. Actually, I was closer to 700, but then YouTube has done a couple of purges since then. So, fun. And good morning, Gap Stargate.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning, everybody. I'm on my phone, so I can see the chat, but I can't respond, but I can read. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm laying down in bed with one of my cats, Miss Pretty Girl. She's scared of thunder, and I'm trying to break her of it, and it's taken years. now she sort of hides next to the refrigerator, and I'm like, well, that's not going to work out too well. And so I picked her up, and I've got her next to me, so I'm trying to get her to stop being scared of the thunder.
Well, stop being scared of thunder may be hard to do, but modifying the behavior when she is scared may be easier.
Yeah, exactly.
As in, if you can get her to go to a certain cushion or a certain something, get a certain toy when she's scared.
Yeah, I mean, there's another one, baby girl. She's on me like glue, but right now she's hiding. But this one, I'm trying to break her because she was the first one I rescued off the street.
Oh,
So, and she looks like a little lioness. Yeah, John Smith. I've tried catnip, but it doesn't work during thunderstorms. I remember before she showed up at my previous house, that she had been out in the thunderstorms with her buddy, baby girl, and both of the girls were running the neighborhood, and then pretty girl just showed up at my house first, and the baby girl, she's like, I don't like you. But then years later, baby girl's on me like a shadow, and so isn't pretty girl. She's sort of a shadow, but right now I can't help not trying to help animals, you know what I mean?
absolutely. And good morning. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Courtney. How are you? Good morning, Dave, John Smith, Dr. Scotty, Resolute Germ, the lovely Sherry Mega Cropper, Dave G Sound, Gorillas, Random Thoughts, Rerun Trading, Bird. Hello, everybody. And I watched this movie this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is really dating me. Do you remember the movie Convoy with Chris Christopherson and Ali McGraw about the truckers?
Yeah, I do remember some about it. What you saw it today?
Yeah, this morning, you know how YouTube thinks you want to watch something or look at something,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess because I was listening to Fat Steven Seagal's trucker stuff, they were thinking, hey, he might like Convoy, and I was like, yeah, I remember that movie, I love it, but um, it's a pretty good movie, but nothing, they didn't get. It has a lot of action, and it's got Ernest Borgnine in there as the stupid cop,
Yeah.
And he gets railroaded off the highway and goes through a billboard and a shed, and I was just laughing my ass off, and my mom was like, what the hell is going on with all this crash? And I was like, it's the convoy. Hail Mexican Iron Man. Happy Easter, by the way, to people who celebrate the real meaning of Easter.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I don't have to do any more Easter egg hunts. Oh my gosh. Lord, and you always have one kid that's like, I can't find any eggs. And I'm like, excuse me, you see those colored things all over the ground right behind you? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
And the coolest thing we've ever done was for blind people, where the eggs had noises where they could zero in on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hello, low specs Linux laptop.
Good morning, low spec Linux laptop.
Yeah, so now I'm in this 70s phase because this also, but it was the cats,
Mm-hmm.
I got up, I was like, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 6:00 in the morning. So I thought she would stop meowing. Well, no, I was wrong. 30 minutes later, she just kept, I was like, fine, I'm getting up. And so, so I started going through some of my stuff, and I found an old autograph picture of the Bionic Woman with the
Really?
$6 million man, and that got me on the '70s kick. And then I get on YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, you might want to watch Convoy." So then I watched Convoy. So I'm in this '70s mode today.
Cool. Or should I say groovy?
Yeah, groovy. Oh my gosh, I was, and then I put on Twitter the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner's autograph picture, and then that got me going also on Rona Barrett Gossip. I don't know if you remember that. She used to have a show. It was before Entertainment Tonight, and she used to have all the Hollywood gossip. And so I started on that. So today will be '70s theme.
Awesome.
As long
Good
as
theme.
doesn't, yeah. And we might play some Disco Inferno later. But in one of the movies, in one of the sections of the movie, they're like, "Break." You remember when they used to say, "Breaker 549, Breaker 549. This is Trucker Z. Anybody out there?"
Oh, Lord.
And I remember driving and passenger in the car, and you used to could do your arm up and down like honking a horn, and they'd honk it back, but they
Yep.
don't do that anymore.
Oh, there's some that still do.
Thanks, John Smith. Happy Easter to you as well. And hello, deleted scenes.
Good morning,
Yeah,
deleted scenes. Happy Easter, and I'm sorry you can't stay. Hopefully work goes well. And hopefully we can work out a time to get together for that project we were talking about.
oh, you and I.
Well, you and I, and then I had something else I wanted to work on with Steven, deleted scenes.
Oh yeah. You know what I've been looking for? It's funny you mentioned that with him. I'm looking for a decent price program. I think you and I should have like a really great opening. Um, like a talk show. Like to me, yours is like a morning speakeasy talk kind of thing, and
Right.
like a really cool opening. But I'm not sure which one to get program wise to accomplish that, where don't want it to look too polished but don't want it to look crappy.
Right.
And some of them, these programs are like, are you $300? Are you kidding me? Have something for $60 for Macintosh, because I got a Airbook MacBook, and my mom's got an iMac, and she regrets getting it now. And I'm like, no, you got one of the coolest damn computers you can get, and she's like, well, it's just for the internet. I was like, I'll swap you.
And good morning, Ryan Roger Assay. Thank you. I always trip up over the last name.
And Geek Hero Bubba. I like that. Bubba. Hey, Bubba, how are you?
And Resolute Germ says,
Resolute
Easter
Germ.
is my favorite day. The day after is great. Half off Easter candy. Well, the funny thing is, a lot of places now don't go to half off. They go to like 30% off.
Yeah, I know, right? They're trying to milk it.
Yep.
No pun intended, milk chocolate. Ha 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 ha. That was my corny thing for today. But I'm trying to find a program for a decent thing, because I'd like to. I mean, I started. Okay, here's my short trip on YouTube. Okay, PJ Orville Nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, you need to get on there and put your voice out there. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he used to yell at me at Caps as a joke in private messages. And I'm like, stop yelling at me. And he was like, get your butt out there and start doing something. I know you would blow up. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I started at the end of last year, but I've only done 4 streams. And then in February, I listened to Loki, and then Loki lit the fire. So TJ put it the seed in the ground. Well, Loki set it on fire, and I was like, I'm gonna do my first stream. But and then I mean I got 250 subs in like 18 days.
Mm-hmm.
And and like they're like, wow, if you keep on going, but then you're trying to figure out your persona and what you want to offer, because you don't want to be like everyone else. You want to you might do this sort of the same thing, but there's nobody like you to do it your way. So what's your way? So I'm trying to figure out which way we want to go and find a program, because I did those videos for PJ for the Dark Matter Monday thing he had. I think I did like 29 out of 30 something shows.
Wow.
And I had already known the creator and producer and writer of that show, Dark Matter. I already knew Joe way before PJ. And so he likes my work, and he's like, how do you do all this stuff? And I'm like, on my phone. And he was like, if he would have cussed online, he would have said no shit. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And he was like, oh my God, wow, you do that on your phone? And I'm like, yep. I said, just imagine if I had a program. And so that made me think I'd like to have a program, like if we go 2 hours, I want a bathroom break for me and for the guests,
right,
and for the chat, and so I had, ETAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ETAP, I'm like, yo, I mod for him also, and Cardinal Sin, and a whole bunch of other people. And I'm like, y'all, I love your all shows, but 2 hours, some people might have to go pee pee or want to get a break or whatever. So so now there's commercial breaks, and now I'm working on getting Cardinal Sin to do a commercial break, but just promote yourself and your products, or somebody else that you want to promote. If you got merchandise, you could have a little commercial break. So it's like a talk show kind of, but then you have a commercial break.
I like that
and
idea.
Yeah, so thinking maybe, we should all get together and get, because you got access to some good people that get you a commercial break and an intro and an outro with credits. And, like in the middle of the show, you could stick out your merchandise promo and, all kinds of things. And I think you should have a thing. What is it that, like, only because ETAP's on my brain right now, a membership thing. Have you thought about having a membership thing? And,
Well, I do have a, oh, crap, what is it called? I gotta look at my own. Let's see here, where to go. Patreon.
Yeah, you need to promote that more. And like on your
I rarely promote. I mean, I have the stuff. Okay, it's like, yeah, I got the coffee thing, I got the merch store link. I got the Patreon. It's all in the description. I don't even bother mentioning it. There's
Yeah, well, I've learned one thing from Cardinal Sin. It's promote, but don't shove it down people's throats. Because I told him, I was like, I'm like, when he does the Into the Fringe shows, which are really cool. I'm like, there's 4 of us that are modding for him, and we're all, he's like, I'm in your all's hands. So we're like, okay, every 30 minutes, we're going to drop something in about your channel or your merchandise or your Patreon or whatever you've got. So, it's not shoving it down people's throats, but, it's every 30 minutes. And then if you're a 2-hour show, you can have a TT break, snack break. And, if you don't want to promote your merchandise, you can promote something upcoming, or you can have some funny stuff about Star Trek or whatever, and then you can have an outro for your Patreon subscribers. And, because I think Cardinal Sin might be going to, like, what Doomcock does. Yeah, Resolute Germ, nothing wrong with some shameless self-promotion. Yeah, exactly. And then you can either use the money to put back into the show. Like,
right.
I know a lot of YouTubers, unless you're at 250,000 and up, you're still not going to make that much money, because you got the mafia YouTube taking a whole hell of a chunk out of it. But if you let people know the truth, you don't make that much off of it. However, this money is going to go back into the show that you like and that's going to entertain you and that you love. It's going to go back in to support it. I can get a better program to get you all some, exclusive stuff on Patreon. I can make better, videos or whatever have you.
Exactly.
I think I'm more good of an ideas person. And I used to produce people before, and I used to do that in the TV news business, and then when I was in school, the professor, he was a big time professor, and he was like, you know what, you could go direct yourself into a big career if you wanted to. I like going, getting everything ready for a show, and then, producing the show.
Right.
And that kind of thing. And
what do you like about doing it the most?
What do I like? I don't know. I like getting people's attention with that. If you produce a good show, it brings people in. I think I like the fact that I can handle so many different things about it. It's pressure. It's exciting. It's live, and I used to love the Emmys and the Oscars, and I used to, must have been a strange person, because I always wanted to know how they produced the show, because it made me want to watch it. And even TV programs, well, how is this produced? And what does the executive producer do? And the producer and the showrunner, and, all of these things, besides the actors and crew and all of that and the writing, helps lure people in to take them somewhere on a journey. So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying, Resolute Germ, that's not fair. YouTube is not the mob. The mob doesn't as much as YouTube. Yeah. That's true. The mob only takes 88%. YouTube takes 90%. That was funny. But I think that's what I like about it. And I think I would be I'm not seeking fame,
Right.
If
Well,
I
I
do
don't
it,
think most people are seeking fame. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, but I mean, okay, you're right. Some people are seeking fame, and some are not, and just like I'm on the same lines as Loki. You do it because you want to do it, because you love to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have something to say, but I'm not so sure if I want to get out there. I've already had my 30 minutes of fame in the past. So, I've got a record album, I've got all kinds of things in my past. I've already been there. I don't like that. People are like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, but the best part was playing the music, on the record. The best part
Mm-hmm.
is working and playing a piece of music from Larry Kirshner, if you know who Larry Kirshner is. He's a Grammy award-winning composer.
Mm-hmm.
And, those kind of things are more exciting to me than, you know, uh, having the record. I got to play a piece of music directed by Larry Kirshner, written by him. I'm like that. All of us who got to do that, we're like more interested in that than we were about, you know, getting publicity or whatever kind of crap that goes along with it. And, I've told you before, I worked at a record company, and the reason why they hired me is like, I don't give a damn how famous these people are. You go to the bathroom, right? Yeah. You poop and you eat, right? And you argue and you have relationships, right? Yeah. So, oh, that's about what I do. So, looks like we're the same, except for you're more successful.
Your name, your name is known by more people than mine.
Yeah. And, um, if I were to turn it on to the camera and do it, I would do it to raise money for animals and elderly people. If you join my channel membership, 50% is going back into the show, 50% is going to go to this cause to save animals or help pay an elderly person's light bill, or and then maybe target a little bit better to help the elderly nerds and geeks, like that kind of thing.
I like that. I like
So
that. And the fact that you'd be upfront saying, okay, this is what half the money would be going for, this is what the rest would. I like
yep.
that.
And well, thanks. And then you show people, let's say we're going to donate, $1,000. We raised $1,000 with channel membership. Okay. It's going to go help, maybe we could do, one state for every, that's just an example. Let's say we get
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 all the time. Well, the $1,000, we could just say we'll donate to the most neediest shelter in Alabama, Alaska, and we'll go in order and we'll go around the country. Or if anybody can prove that an elderly person really needs help, we'll show them, we'll black out all their pertinent information, but we'll show that we paid their power bill, those kind of things. Because I was always close to my grandma and my grandpa's, and I just, have a soft spot for elderly. And, elderly's like the young, except for the age. You become immobile or helpless, a lot of them, at the end of your life, and you're mobile and energy at the beginning of your life. And most regular folks like us, somebody occasionally needs a lift, a help, or I'd like to get, I thought about this the other day and and I told my friend, they're like, you are so nuts. And I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to go in and find some elderly men and women that like Star Trek or science fiction. Well, what would you do with that? I was like, well, if they wanted me to read them a Star Trek book, or we sat down and watched an episode of, let's say, the original series is what they like. Well, we'll sit down and we'll watch that together and spend an hour with them. And then we'll give them, a little Starship Enterprise model or something that they can put near their bedside, and they can remember what something like that meant to them. I don't know if that sounds crazy or not.
No, it doesn't sound crazy at all.
Yeah, Mega Cropper, it is hard doing charity work and avoiding the scammers. It is. But the way you avoid the scammers is do your homework. And the person who's getting the money to help someone has to have documentation to prove it. And then you gain trust from people that way. And, documentation doesn't lie. It's there, so and so's at this level, and they only get $800 a month from Social Security. Maybe we could get them a gift card, and it's complicated to explain how to find out if that's true or not, but there is a way without compromising the person's personal information or yours. But there is a way to verify it, because at the university I used to do fundraising, and I used to do 501c3, and my boss was like, you better have that documentation, everything, because let me tell you a dirty word. And I was like, what? And he said, auditors. And then if we ever get audited, I'm going to be on your ass and I'm going to be pissed. So I'm like, I like you and you're a good boss, so I'm going to keep you off my ass and out of my business, and we're going to have all the documentation you need. But a Mega Cropper, plus all registered charities have directors on 6 figures a year minimum. Yeah, but you know what? That's wrong, because some of these entities, the charities, they don't need to pay these people 6 figures at all. That's the bad part of it. And Resolute Germ, avoiding scammers and avoiding the government, the state of Washington is the biggest roadblock to charity. Yeah, it is. I've dealt with charity stuff from your area all the way to Georgia, and it's like, holy crap, talk about going through Barnum and Bailey Circus, Cirque du Soleil, and everybody else in between, a rodeo. You got to go through 6 rodeos, and after you've gone through all of that, they might go, okay, well, we might be able to do this with you. But yeah, and the rules and regulations. But if you're an honest person and you can show documentation and you can prove consistency, you're going to have a much better reputation
True.
about charity work. And the 6 figures, that's outrageous, freaking outrageous. You should just be paid what a director should be paid, and that varies state to state. But if it depends on the size of the charity. But $50,000.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't see a problem paying a living wage, particularly to a large charity, to somebody who's actively doing a lot of work to try to promote the organization, to try to raise money, to try to get things going and doing stuff like that. But 6 figures is like, yeah,
no, that's ridiculous. And I've met those people who made 6 figures, and they are like, oh, it's totally justified. And I pissed one of them, 2, 3, maybe 8 of them off. I don't know. Can't remember. But I'm like, you know what? You're a mid-sized charity. You don't deserve that. And even if you're a highbrow charity, you're coming to the university for help. I said, I don't know if I can't work with you. Why is that? I said, because you're more worried about your salary than what you're supposed to be there for. And I can't work with you. And my boss backed me. He's like, we're not working. If Gap says no, we're not working with you. We've got this thing called integrity, and they used to pound into our head leadership. I went through all these leadership things, and they pounded into our head integrity, honesty, documentation, being consistent, being honest, don't overpromise. And he just looked at me and he's like, I cannot believe you're turning us down. Don't you know who we are? And I'm like, yeah, but the fact that you're coming to help, you're more to us for help. You're more worried about you than about the people you serve. We won't work with you like that. I said, go back out in the hallway and read the plaque before you come into my department and read it and then come back in. He said, well, I didn't see it. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, get up, go out the door. I'll buzz you back in, read it, and then come back in and tell me. Well, he went out and he read it and it came back and I'm like, well, and he was like, I'm like, all right, well, thanks for coming. Have a good day. Maybe, if you get somebody else with some integrity, we might be able to deal with it. And he's just like, I can't believe your boss will let you talk that way. I said, well, A, my boss will tell you the same. And B, this is my department. And C, did you read the plaque? Yes, I did. I said, well, okay, then. Thanks. Have a nice day. Hello, TWTG content.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, and Mega Cropper, yes. I'd like to be able to sleep at night. I totally agree. I mean, I could sleep every night. And that's where I developed my love of giving. I actually cried out in front of donors one time. When we were help raising money for a $60 million nursing building.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold one of the rooms, put their plaque on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
They came up and these grown men, they're like 6'5". There's like 4 of them. They're like, oh my God, Gary, this room is beautiful. And it's going to create so many wonderful people that are going to help the human race down the road. Nurses, we need more nurses. I'm like, well, that's why we like you, because the end game is to help people. And they started crying with the plaque. And then when I looked at them and I looked at the plaque, and then my boss came up, he said, hey, Bubba, this is why we do what we do, isn't it, brother? And I'm like, yes, it is. And he made me cry right there. But nobody in this world gets anywhere without help from other people. And if it's done the right way, the satisfaction is that you've helped somebody, and hopefully you've inspired somebody to help somebody else down the road. It's like that pay it forward kind of thing. Yeah, TWG content. The ethos was nothing was ever asked for, but if you feel to give what you can afford, that's okay. Yes, it is. I mean, we had this little old lady who could only, she's like, I want to do something. I only get $1,400 a month on Social Security, but I want to do something. I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, can you do a scholarship or something? And then once it gets funded, I can be invited to the luncheon and meet the student that it benefits. And I'm like, yeah. How much do you want to do? She said, well, how about just $5? I was like, that's fine. 4 years later, we had her at the lunch and she gave away, what was that? 50, 100, or I kicked in the rest to make it 500, but it ended up being 500 for books.
Wow.
Mexican Ironman. I'm one state over from you. I'm in the Southeast. But if you need help, it's important to seek it. Only a fool seeks to struggle alone. Yes. And that little woman, that was the highlight of her life when she sat there and she met this young man And he was so excited to meet someone that was helping him. And do you know what happened 5 years later?
What?
He went and helped her because the books that she paid for his final nursing stuff, he became a nurse. He started making good money. He came back and helped her, and she wrote a letter and let us know.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's another way you can tell people, show people that you're doing stuff. And I learned this meeting all kinds of people. I mean, I've met people who are filthy damn rich, and some of them I didn't like, and some of them I did. And some of them would just come up and phone call and say, "Hey, come down to Buckhead in Atlanta and come to the Martini Club with me." I was like, "Well, I don't know. Let me ask my boss." My boss was like, "Get down there and have a drink with this 86-year-old woman." So I was like, "Fine, fine, fine." Well, she was, multi-millionaire, big
Mm-hmm.
time. I was like, "Well, all right, I'm coming." So go down to her office. She has this limousine come pick us up. And I'm like, "Do we really have to do this limousine?" She's like, "Well, my butt is 86 years old, so I need something nice and soft. This is what I splurge on, Gary." I was like, "Okay." So we go to the Martini Club and we start talking. She's like, "Before you start talking business, I don't want to talk business. I'm going to stop you right now. I read your proposal. We're going to give y'all the $5 million. Now tell me more about who you are, because I have a feeling about you, and that's why I gave the $5 million, but I want to hear it from you." So then I just told her why I was doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she gave the money. But then on the other hand, you have somebody who just gave $5 a month, and it took her years, but it was something of personal satisfaction for her. Um, some people just, give what they can give. And if you can't give money, you can give time. You can give something that you don't want anymore to someone else and make them happy. You can go
Absolutely.
to the senior center and read to the elderly. You can get a dog that you'd have to have certified, but you could raise money to get a dog certified to go sit with you and the elderly. You could go read them a book. I'd like to be able to get big enough, my channel to become big enough to be able to make a wish for the elderly, for science fiction and conventions, even if they're in a wheelchair. They can't afford to go. Well, we raise money on the channel through the subscriptions, and we take them out to a con, and we make sure that they have room to go through a convention. I mean, I got into it. I knew some big people at the Dragon Con in Atlanta, and I got into it with them until they changed the rules. I was like, "Excuse me, damn it, you bitches." I was like, "How do you expect handicapped people to get through 70 freaking thousand people and to have the same experience? Y'all better get up on this crap right now. Because when I'm
Exactly.
70 and 80, I'm still going to be going to a con if I can. And I'm going to bitch my way through that whole place until y'all make room for me. So y'all better do something about it now."
Yep.
Happy Easter, Pat S. But sorry, I'm just on a yucky mode today. But
And that's no problem. That's no problem at all. I'm glad you're wanting to talk.
yeah,
Uh,
and so I'd like to get people to do something like that. I mean, um, really get some people to do something like that. I mean, even if it's just paying elderly person's water bill $50 or something, or getting them some fans, helping with their electricity. There's more people or more elderly that are lonely and hungry, and that just I'd like to cry on that part because it's just there's no need for it. And if you want to create jobs where people who care to go help people like that. And instead of having all these corporate jobs where you have 10 titles when 2 people could do it.
Exactly.
Hello,
So,
world.
hey,
It's
Bird.
Kapla.
Kapla.
So, did you you have any Robin and Easter eggs, Bird?
No robberies of Easter eggs. Luckily,
It sounds like you
especially
had
with the
some
price of
Romulan.
eggs.
Oh, it sounds like you had some Romulan ale. Are you awake?
I am awake. Actually, today I slept later than I can remember. It was after 9 a.m. and Mama Pray woke me because she was afraid something was wrong. I was still asleep. Now, if you don't know our house, but usually I wake Mama Pray up sometime between 6 and 7 a.m. Because I need her. So this was 9 a.m. and I was still out. So she actually got to wake up on her own without me waking her up at all, which was great for her. But it completely confused my whole day. I mean, I'd usually taken 2 courses of pills by now. I'm only on 1. And anyway, it's fine. It's Easter. And I was listening to you, and my heart was, I was tearing up. There's soot in the air here. Some real awesome stuff you've done.
Well, thanks. I mean, it makes me tear up just talking about it, even just saying what I'm speaking out of my mouth to you right now. Saying, yeah.
I hope the old lady didn't say this is contingent upon one thing, and you're not telling us that part of the story.
Oh, no. I mean, she wanted to give something, and she only could do $5.
She wanted to get something too. No,
Well,
not that lady.
Oh, the rich one?
A rich one.
The rich one, she wanted to know who I really was. That's all she wanted to get out of it, because she did not want to give money to anybody, any university or any fundraiser of any type who she couldn't connect with and felt like they were really going to do something. That's what that's what she got out of it. Because she also told me, she's like, I already checked you out and I already talked to the boss, and she said, I like you. So she would just call me up and say, hey, I'm lonely. You want to talk about stocks, or you want to talk about this? Or can you
that's nice.
Can you have lunch with me? And stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I can't afford where you go. She said, well, how about we go to McDonald's and you buy it this time? So we went to McDonald's one time, and she's a multimillionaire. I mean, she wanted to get out of it. And is this money that I'm giving really going to help somebody, or help the university to help kids to teach them and shape their minds and have them go out and do something good? I'm like, yes, it will. And then, you heard that story about one of the kids with the lady who only gave $5. He came back and helped her, and she wrote us a letter, and she was like, oh my God. And then I did a leadership class, and there was this girl that was huge. I mean, she was huge. She could barely get through a university door. And they're pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Well, I talked about leadership, and, she wouldn't answer any questions. And I'm like, Susan, excuse me, why do you come here every week to listen to me? She said, well, one, I like to listen to what you have to say and identify with it. But I'm really shy. I'm like, you can't be shy in front of me. She said, well, I'm not exactly looking beautiful or whatever. I said, I really don't give a damn what you look like. What do you have in your brain? Ask me a damn question or get out. So she's like, oh my God, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. She said, well, I'm going to ask you a damn question. I said, well, then go ahead. And, we just started talking about it. And after the class of 6 weeks, after it was over, she disappeared. She came back like 8 or 9 months later and said, hey, Gap, hey, Gap. Well, they used to call me G. They're like, hey, G, G, G. And I turned around, I'm like, yeah. And I looked at her and I'm like, I think I know you. She said, remember that big girl who couldn't get through the door? I was like, no shit, get back. She's like, you motivated me. I don't know how you did it, but you motivated me. And she was gorgeous. She lost 250 pounds. She was gorgeous. And she said,
Damn.
I went out and, I got after I lost all the weight, I got a job as a VP at a bank. And I wanted you to come back and see and thank you for what you did.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. And, I got that from the school. And one of our employees, I saw he was the custodial. And you know what they said to me when I first got to the university? Do not hang around custodial or the groundskeeper people. I'm like, why? Well, they're not on our level. Well, I'm like, I'm like, hold on a second, bitches, hold on. I said, excuse me, I took this job because this was the most immaculate grounds, immaculate buildings that I've ever seen at any campus I've been. This is immaculate, and I never see anything bad going on campus because the police take care of it real quick, and you just don't see it. It's almost like they're ninjas and they snatch the crime off real quick and you don't see nothing. So I became friends with the custodial and the groundskeeper. Hey, Six, how are you?
Hey, Six. Hey, Pat S.
And I became friends with the groundskeepers and the custodial. And one of the custodials, like, you say good morning to me every day. I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Well, we're supposed to be invisible. I'm like, look, you ain't invisible. And she said, all right, stop putting your trash can outside for me to pick it up. I'm supposed to come in your office. I don't want to get in trouble. I was like, that's fine. So I used to put it near the door. She still got mad, but sometimes I would dump it myself. She's like, for 3 weeks, there's no trash in here. I'm like, no. She's like, you dumped it, didn't you? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Maybe a bird came in and took it. I don't know. And then one of the guys came up to fix something in my office, and his pants were dropping a little, and I saw that his belt was ripped pretty bad, where it only had one hole left, but had enough of the top and bottom part to go into the belt buckle part. I had the head of custodial go in his locker and find out his pant size, and he mysteriously got a belt. One of the custodial, I fought for the custodial and groundskeepers to be able to go to classes like every other employee did to improve themselves. I'm like, excuse me, they get to education too. We get to go to classes and improve ourselves. Why don't they? So we had this big fight on that at the university for that, but
Good.
it got pushed through. And one of these African American guys, Willie, he was like, I don't know, Gary, I don't know. And he's like, I don't know, never gets you anywhere. He said, I don't have a satchel or anything like you do, and blah, blah. I was like, well, you know what? You might one day. So I called up to the office. I'm like, send Willie down. I need something fixed. I got him one of the university bags that they give to donors, and I gave it to him with pads and pens and notebooks and everything. He said, I'm going to get in trouble if you give this to me. I was like, if you don't take this damn bag out of my face and out of my office, I'm going to be pissed. He's like, I'm going to take it, Gary. And I said, if they say something, you send them to me. I'll set them straight. So, and he went to school with it. When he got off work, he would go to the continuing education and get his classes and educate himself. So sorry, I've been rambling, but
No. No, this is quite interesting. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
fascinating.
to circle it all back, that's what I would like to do as a YouTuber is my memberships would be used to put back into the show, but then the other half is to go help, like I said, help the elderly, or send an elderly person to the con, that to a con or something, like that, or go and sit and read with them. I know I saw somebody in the chat. Geek Hero Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting with people at the end of their life can be tough, but providing their loved ones with a respite in such a trying time is amazing. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, but you got to kind of work that out for yourself and not be selfish with your emotions about how you feel about the elderly person that might be at the end of their life, because it's not fair to them. Because if you're going to spend your time with them, you need to give them who you are to make them feel better about who they are. Um, you know, um, let's see, Geek Hero. But my father has been a custodian for 26 years. He's a talented musician and knowledgeable about music. But people that he worked for years would never know that. See, that's sad. I mean, I got involved with the employees section thing at the university. That's where we pushed for the custodial groundskeepers and the people who fix things that are broken, the handyman and all that. And I pushed for that kind of stuff. We did American Idol on campus, and it was only allowed for the people who kept the inner workings in the university go. No one who held an office position was allowed.
Ah,
I was like, you can't go. And that's how we found out some people could sing. I'm like, Mrs. Brown, damn girl, you sound like, Aretha Franklin. I said, and going back to Geek Hero Bubba, that's a shame that they don't know that, but they do now where I was at my university. And I did the first 9/11 memorial stuff. Nobody wanted to do it. And I'm like, they're like, you're not going to get anybody to come out. Boy, that an Easter egg hunt, nobody would do that. Man, I had that place hopping with over 1,000+ people every time we did something like that.
No
Besides
pun
doing my,
intended.
huh? Yeah, no pun
You had
intended.
it happen, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh my gosh, and it's something like the Easter egg hunt we did. My mom came, family came,
mm-hmm.
nieces came, everybody met somebody, and got to expand their horizons by meeting different people. And then of course the kids had a good time, except for that one little girl I told you about. She's like, where are the eggs? And I'm like, sweetie, they're right behind you, turn around with me. Oh my god, look. And I'm like, yes, go have fun, fill up your basket, have a good day. She just looked at me. She came back, and I'm like, no coming back and hugging me. She come back and hugged me. I burst out in tears. I was like, don't do that.
Hey, Moscow Scenario, what's going on? Good morning, brightest day.
Oh, thanks, Pat S., for being my 250th subscriber.
Absolutely. And if somebody could drop the link to Gap Stargate's YouTube, please do.
Thanks, Captain. You don't have to do that. I mean, I've the
Yes,
only
I do.
I I'm gonna get on it, and then maybe we'll all have a surprise. You and I have a surprise for people one day, but that's what I want to do. That's why I would like to get on YouTube. And elderly watch YouTube. I mean, everybody's like, no, they don't. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Oh my
Yes, they
God,
do.
yes, they do.
I mean, there are people of all ages watching YouTube, and there's content for people of all ages on YouTube. So,
Maybe you and I should do something in Bird, and we could call it the Grumpy Grandpas, or something. I mean, it's just, I think that would be hilarious. The grumpy grandpas. I just think that would be hilarious. But so why do you want to do what you do, Captain and Bird, on YouTube? Whoever wants to go first. Why do you all do YouTube?
Bird, I'll let you go first. You got a larger channel.
I just do it to keep busy and to spread the word of Karoga. But in all honesty, to keep busy and keep saying things I think people need to hear.
Yes,
I
you do. Yes, you do. And what do you get out of it? I like
uh,
I I can tell
I
it
mean
how.
I've got the Karogan population increasing. No, it's good to have people who don't mind listening to me and hearing people actually say that they laugh or I get people who write to me and I'm only half the story is what I talk about. There's a half a story of people I chat with via email and whatnot who have told me, things I'm not comfortable repeating,
Mm-hmm.
but that I have impacted on their lives somehow, whether I intended to or not. And, even if half these people are lying to me, even if 3/4 of the people are lying to me, which I doubt they are, the fact that anybody would write some of these things, it really takes you, makes you think. And
It,
hello, Six.
Hello.
Good morning,
Hello,
Six.
Six.
Good morning. Happy Easter.
Happy
Happy
Easter. How are
Easter.
you?
Happy Easter. What does
So
the Easter Bunny say? Nothing.
hippity hippity hoppity. I still crack up. I put the GIF on my Twitter timeline. The Cadbury bunny, but it's really the cat with the ears. I don't know why. I just incessantly laugh at that, but that just cracks me up. The little bunny. Meow, 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 meow. And Captain, so what do you get out of YouTube? What does it do
What
for
do I
you
get out of
personally?
YouTube? Well, the funny thing was, I originally started the channel because I wanted to be able to talk. Because in the position that I've been in, where I've been going to wound care and things like that, where I'm not really seeing anybody, this gives me an outlet to actually get to talk to people. And this even started before all this stuff was going on because this started for me in early 2019, and that's where I started meeting Bird and such.
Well, that's really good. Six, did you just get off work?
No, I've been off this weekend.
Oh, yay, right?
Yeah. So I woke up a few hours. I'm like a toddler. It takes me a few hours to wake up. So,
Yeah, they got me on this new pain medication, and I'm not sure if I like it
yeah.
because it takes 90 minutes to really move to get up.
What's the medication? If you don't mind me
Bura,
asking.
Bupropion.
Buprenorphine?
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes you so sleepy. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I have cat hours. Because it's like sleep, and I'm like, I tried to tell them, please don't give me anything to make me sleepy. I don't have trouble with the sleep. I don't like zombie. I don't want to be a zombie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's a big side effect of a lot of.
yeah, I mean, can't they do something where it doesn't do that? But it's it is what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
um you know, what can you do about it? Just try to go with it.
Yeah, I was listening to you talk about your experiences at your university. That's pretty cool. I was
Yeah,
impressed.
I my it's I guess I can attribute going on this today on Captain's show from waking up, finding an old nostalgic photograph, which led me to watch an old nostalgic movie, which put me in a nostalgic mode. And then Easter, I always think about the past and things that we have done, and that led to things I'd like to do with YouTube, you know.
Hmm.
And it's just the way I am. I mean, I wouldn't want to be any other way. I just like help. I just like helping people. Um, you know, I mean, I've been known
Well,
to, you know, I gave this elderly man $10 when I walked out the grocery store. He looked at me, "Why are you giving this to me?" I said, "Well, you were counting your change out." I said, "Maybe this can help you get something else."
Hmm.
You know, somebody that I believed in my heart was homeless with his dog. Me and my mom went out and got him some lunch, and we got him 6 boxes of dog biscuits and some water for his dog. You know, that's just the way we are.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, you know, so I just am made this way, you know, and I think it's from my mom likes to help people and um animals and, you know, stuff like that. So that's probably where I got it from. But it's just something everybody could do. Even if you don't have money, you still can make an impact on somebody's life.
I work in healthcare, and I typically do my grocery shopping right after work, so I'm wearing my scrubs. And it was maybe a year and a half ago when it was in the first year of the global
hmm
thing, the pandemic, and I was excuse me, I was at the self checkout at the grocery store, and this senior citizen couple came up, and I was just getting, I don't know, I think I was getting cereal and some produce or something, maybe some garbage bags, and this senior couple came up to me, and this woman, she put her hand on my arm and she said, "I want to thank you for what you do." And I said, "Well, how do you know what I do?" And she said, "Well, you're wearing scrubs. You look like you just got out of work. So whether you're pushing a mop or whether you're pushing a syringe," and she'd been a nurse, because I talked to her
Wow.
for a little bit. She said, "Whether you're pushing a mop or whether you're pushing a syringe, I appreciate what you're doing right now, the fact that you're able to work and that you're willing to work." And she said, "And my husband and I, we want to pay for your groceries." I'm going to start crying. And I can afford my groceries. I don't
Right.
have, I am not, and I wasn't then, financially struggling. The fact that they were willing to reach out because they didn't have any other way to thank me, or their perception of me, it meant so much to me, their gesture. And so it really does, when you do something like that for somebody, you're touching them way beyond the financial gift. You're letting them know that there is somebody out there who cares, because I was feeling really isolated, and that's how I ended up on YouTube, was feeling really isolated. And so on behalf of people that you've donated to, thank you for being the kind of person to reach out, even if it's just a kind gesture or a smile or a kind word. When you reach out to somebody and you make an attempt to help them and make them feel special, it goes a long way. It really does.
Yes.
I think about that couple frequently, and it means a lot to me, and it's stuck with me.
Yeah, and you know, you can do this every day, you know, not just think about it on holidays, but you can do it.
Definitely.
You know, everybody's like, "Oh, you know, because it's the holidays." No, you can do it every day. And if you do it enough, it might change some negative stuff in you, just positive and everything. And my neighbor just yelled at me. They got married. The neighbor yelled at me and said, "Hey, we've got a bunch of beer and water and stuff, and we just got married."
You just got married?
Yeah, I'm telling my mom too.
Are they offering you beer?
Yeah, well, they wanted to be. They're unloading. Listen to this, y'all. Two trucks. You know those big Ford trucks with the big beds in the back. They're unloading two of them full of beer and water or wine or whatever. Wonder what kind of wedding that was.
Oh, good for them.
Absolutely.
That's
Hope
cool
they
when
had
you have good
fun.
news like that and you want to share it with the world.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, come over and have a party with us." I put it on mute, and I said, "Well, when I get off the show, I'll come and talk to y'all later." But but yeah, you can be, it's. I guess I've been taught like when nothing can be. You only make yourself down and out, and it may seem insurmountable, but you really can pull yourself up and out of a mood or a situation. Nobody really can do it for you, but they can encourage and help hold your hand and help you with it, but they can't really make you do it. But if you keep on doing that, you can do it. And like I said earlier, and these corporations that have 10 titles for one job, that two people could do a job for. Well, why
Right.
don't you hire people to go help people and go sit with the seniors? I don't want to be at the end of life and be lonely.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
Well, it's funny. You were talking about the underappreciated people. I remember when I was in the hospital, most of the staff treated the what do you call them? The sanitation people. I guess
Custodial.
Maintenance,
custodial
janitorial.
staff, janitorial staff, like they weren't there.
Mm.
And it's like, in my experiences, I've gotten some of the best care from the custodial staff.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was after first having the surgery, when I had to go to the bathroom, I had to go right then, and they didn't provide me the little container, the urinal. So there were a couple of times I was walking to the bathroom and I pissed myself because I couldn't make it. Because I had to unplug all this other stuff to take with me. And I remember being in tears, having to call in for help. And every time, it was, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is our job. We are here to help. They always made sure I didn't feel like nothing because I couldn't make it to the bathroom.
Right. Well, that's really nice. And, I think that's what's getting lost in the world today because of mainstream media and all of this stuff. There's still a vast majority of people that really care. It's just, but there should be more people that care. I mean, just this recent example just now with a neighbor. I mean, I would never get that in the city, and, that's really sweet, Captain Trek, because, that's what the world really should be. And we've lost a lot of it. And, it just needs to come back.
I think that kind of behavior is contagious too. When you exhibit that kind of behavior, when you
Yeah,
hear about that kind of behavior, you can inspire others to rise up to that. I believe that people live up will attempt to rise to your expectations. So when you put higher expectations on them rather than saying, "Oh well, that was okay," trying to make people feel better for doing a half-assed job, I think that people want to achieve something. And if you
yeah,
give them something to shoot for, then maybe they're more likely to go the extra mile.
yeah. And like, for example, some of the home shows that they have. Well, I really don't give a crap about your celebrity status giving a home to somebody that worked for you. Why don't you give it to somebody, because they probably make good money working for you. Why don't you do a show and come, I've seen a couple, but not enough. You know, I saw a house on the way to my house the other day, and I'm like, it'd be nice if we could come and just help. They probably can't afford it, but just help them get air conditioning or make their house look nicer because they probably can't afford it, but it would help their mood, for lack of a better word. It would help
Mhm.
their esteem.
Their self-esteem, yeah.
Um, why can't we have people with jobs like that and pay people to do stuff like that? Oh, wait a minute, because a lot of the corporations are greedy. I mean, just like this inflation crap. You know what? Why don't you pass it on to your profits and minus it? I mean, it's ridiculous. I went to the store the other day and I was like, I'm not going to buy my turkey burgers anymore because it went from 5.86 to 10.86, and I'm like, no thanks. I'll eat cereal. Oh yeah, Resolute Germ, don't let the government hear you say that. They need low expectations. Yes, they do. Well, we need to get all these people the hell out of there. And that's another thing, is motivating people to motivate them to change for good.
Mhm.
You know, come on, you can make a difference. You can look. I mean, this is just an example, but Elon Musk, like him or leave him, is one person that made a difference. But there's much more people who don't have that kind of money that could really make a difference on the local, state, and federal level.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
just do it.
let's just put it this way: if everybody listening, and I'm not asking to give anybody to give money, I'm just giving an example, but if everybody who listens to this, which is probably going to end up being 100 different people at some point, were to give $5 to a particular organization, that right there, their $5 isn't much. But when you multiply that 500 or that $5 by 100 people, it's $500.
Yep.
That does a lot more. So even the little amount that one person can give can be magnified by the number of people who are doing it. And it
That's
doesn't have to be money.
no, it
Time.
doesn't.
Time
It
is a valuable resource.
Yeah, it is. And
Time is the most valuable thing anyone can give to me.
yeah,
Is their
exactly.
time.
Yep. And not to get back on the elderly, but let's just say this disabled um pisses me off the way disabled people are treated. Um because $5 could help something like that, or you could donate your time and go help somebody write a letter or make a phone call to someone, or that and sit with them while they make a phone call and make amends with somebody in their family, or write a letter to someone, or write a letter for afterlife
Hmm.
for their grandkids, or stuff like that.
One of the most powerful volunteer opportunities I've seen is people who volunteer with hospice,
Mm-hmm.
and they volunteer to come in at whatever time is needed to sit with someone who is passing so that family can get some sleep, take a shower, get something to eat. And because that can be very comforting, even if the person that they're sitting with is completely unconscious, not aware of anything that's going on. Family gets so much comfort knowing that there was somebody sitting with their loved one holding that person's hand when they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And that can affect the whole family, all the family members that of that loved one.
Yeah, exactly. Because um, my step grandma, she had dementia, Alzheimer's, and I was the only one after she got real bad out of her daughters or anybody. She would sit with her arms folded and her head down, and she would just rock for hours on end. And Alice, one of her daughters, she would talk to her. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't move. She said, "Gaps here, gaps here." Do you know, she would unfold her arms, lift her head up, and look at me, and then she would eat.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Alzheimer's unit where she was before they put her there to see what was going on, and then I went back to visit when she was there. Same thing. I was the only one, so they always wanted me to go. And this one lady just came up and said, my son showed up. Look, ladies, my son is here." The nurse was like, "Could you please go along with this? I
Mm-hmm.
understand if you don't want to, but could you please?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I let the lady hug and kiss me on my cheek and pinch my cheek and take me around. "This is my son. He finally came. He finally came." And so you can make a difference in somebody you don't even know. And then with somebody that, you're not blood family, and you didn't get to see him a whole lot, but just like uh, B, that was her name, she would come alive when I was there and she would eat. And then when Alice would start talking, she would put her head down and cross her arms again and just rock. So I had to go with them all the time. And I didn't mind going, but I broke down in tears, and the nurse had to bring me out because when that lady thought I was her son, I don't know, it just hit me. It's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I'm speechless. I didn't mind doing it at all, but it just it broke my heart.
Yeah.
And that's something people can do. I don't necessarily believe that Alzheimer's are, unless they get real, real bad, but she was on her way to getting real bad, but she had her lucid moments. They have their lucid moments. At one place they weren't treating her so well, and I went over there with Alice, and I was like, "Look, I've watched you with her and the other patients. You all are horrible." And she just looked at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "You're horrible." B picked up on my cues, and if you that was her way of communicating, with her head down and her hands folded and rocking or humming. Look at these other ladies and gentlemen. Look, they're giving you cues. They're communicating with you. If you really stopped and watched, you could get more food in them. And, one old gentleman he kept on going on about the Lone Ranger. I'm like, get out and get a DVD of the Lone Rangers and put him in front of the TV. Let him live through that. Do something, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you're talking to me like that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to talk to you like that. And I said, by the way, when her daughter, my stepmother, makes a decision, which she probably is going to, we're taking her out of here. And then we took her to a special place where they only had 6 patients. And we would go over there to sit so she could eat. And I'd just go sit there for hours and hours. And some of the other ones would be like, you know, I saw Roy Rogers yesterday. I was like, you did? Really? What did he say? And, you know, at the other place, nurses like, don't do that. I'm like, that's what they want to talk about. It's something as they're regressing backwards. It's something that's popping out into their mind. We may not be able to figure out why it's the Lone Ranger. It, you know, might be sitting down as a kid watching it. Who knows? But it's a cue. It's a communications. You know. Oh, bye, Bird. I didn't see. Are you going, Bird?
He'll be back.
Oh, okay. But I seem like I'm been yakking for 90 minutes straight. I'm so sorry. But
No,
I've been enjoying the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we all normally talk about, but like I told y'all earlier, that's what set me on my path this morning. And, you know, it makes me think about my grandma and my grandpa on both sides. I miss them, you know, all the time. Everything reminds me of them. And the other day, I'm like, let's go see grandma. And my mom was like, we can't, remember? And I'm like, ah, damn, you know, you're right, we can't. So, you know, enjoy what you got, because it isn't really that bad. Your mind makes it bad, but I mean, if I could, I would get everybody a decent house, food, and a decent car. And you have to pay us back by going to help someone else. You know, we have the capability of doing it. Why can't we just do it?
Yeah, I think about that when I go on Amazon and buy things I don't need. After, you know, I've maybe criticized, you know, rich people for not doing more. And I think, well, what could I do? I could do more.
Well, you can do both. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you can do both. You know, our way of helping right now where we're at, which is in a rural thing, is we're helping the animals. And we almost got a train load of them. We've got these, oh my God, I don't know, it's the weirdest, bluest, tropical looking bird ever. But we got hundreds of damn birds, ducks, rabbits, dogs, cats, wolves. Everybody comes up on the patio, take their turn at their food bowl. Everybody, I'm not kidding. I got the lights that flash on at night, you know, the motion sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can't sleep and I look out the window and I'm like, there's caravan, first the dog, then the rabbits come up, then the hummingbirds come up, get their stuff. Everybody takes their turn.
I should put a camera on my patio because I put, like I just, about an hour ago, I put a big plate of cat food because I still have, my kitty died last October.
Aw.
And it like took a while for me to be ready to start to, you know, take care of the things that I owned for her. And I had this brand new bag of cat food. And it was just a few weeks ago I opened it up and have started putting it outside for the neighborhood cats. And but I also put out, you know, I have multiple bird feeders and I feed the squirrels, and I've seen possums in my yard, and my neighbor saw a deer in my backyard once, but no wolves for me. I wish. That would be pretty cool.
My mom is a damn animal whisperer. Okay. She's in her late 70s. She'll run and lift weights. She does marathons, half
That's
marathons.
awesome.
Okay. She come home one day. I was running by the railroad track. Look what I got. Fox got his paw from the train. Took off. Did not whine, howl, bite her, or nothing. Allowed her take it to get fixed. I mean, it's. I'm like, Ma. She's like, yeah, but the fox don't bother me. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. And I'm like, but and she's like, doesn't bother me. And the animals can tell. I'm like, well, you're the damn animal whisperer. But I saw Greek hero Bubba. I'm so sorry about that. My condolences. We just buried my grandfather 2 weeks ago. He was my last living grandparent, and I cannot stress enough, spend as much time with them as you can while they're alive. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Geek Hero.
Um,
Yeah, you'll never regret time spent with them.
No.
no,
It means the world to them. Literally, it means the world to them.
it does. My grandma, she was a little Italian from Sicily, Italy. Oh my God, she's cracked me up. Dinner time. Y'all got 30 minutes. You better clean these damn dishes. I'm not just here cooking for your damn pleasure. Understand? And don't you dare disrespect me. And every time I see spaghetti, I always think about her saying that.
Spaghetti.
And then she's like, by the way, when you come back here, I need my cigarettes, a box of coffee, and my puzzle books. Do not come back to this house and visit me unless you have these things. She was a hoot. Oh my God, she was a hoot. And then, NASA probably called her up every Christmas. You could see the damn house from the satellite. I swear. My grandpa used to come home like, oh my God, she bought some more lights and it's not even Christmas, And it's like, oh my God, you walk, how you walk into some of those stores where it's got everything junked in there, like a hoarder. Well, that was Grandma. She had every damn knick-knack in the world. Well, when she passed away, before she passed away, she was in the hospital. She came up to me and she said, hey, I want to tell you something. I love you dearly. Don't you dare let anybody ever get you down. Don't let anybody tell you can't do anything. And I'm going to be going soon. I'm like, shut up, Grandma. You're not going anywhere. Well, after we walked out the room, guess she was gone. And I've never forgotten her, but it's weird how she knew she was going to go. She's just like, I'm going to go. And then my grandpa couldn't take it either. He died 6 months to the day after her. But yeah, cherish them while you have. But it was funny because my grandpa was like, you're coming over here and you're helping me put up these damn things. And when National Lampoon came out, he's like, we're not going to do like the movie, okay? Because if I burn this house down on purpose and I blame it on National Lampoon, your grandma's going to say, I need to go to the nut house. And they even sat down. I tell you, my grandma and grandpa were really cool. Well, when Madonna came out with the cone bra and all that, and I was interested in her before she became nuts, my grandpa
Before she...
and grandma sat there and watched the Madonna HBO special with me. My grandma was like, that's a whore.
Oh my gosh.
Gap. That's what we call a whore. My grandpa's like, yo, well, that whore looks pretty good to me. She can't sing, but the whole time, grandma was like, oh my God, I can't believe, your mama didn't bring you up stuff like this. I said, but when I talked to my mom on the phone, I thought this black artist was singing. It was Madonna. I said, so you can blame my mother for Madonna. She was a hoot. She's like, how dare they put whores like that on TV?
I never thought she was a whore.
It was the one where she was doing on the bed and, she was like humping the bed.
Yeah.
And my grandma's like, that's a whore. That's what whores do.
That's a woman who enjoys her sexuality.
I know, but my grandma was old school.
Yeah.
She was just like, that's a hoe. And, it's like, oh my God, she's like, well, we never had this stuff when we were growing up. I was like, yeah, maybe you wouldn't be so uptight, Grandma. She's like, what did you say? I was like, nothing. She would crack me up. And then this morning I found her manger that she got from Italy. It's like 100+ years old.
Why don't people put up like not a nativity scene, but that type of, because Easter kind of goes hand in hand with Christmas. Do people put up like
Yeah.
little resurrected Jesus scenes? And I'm not trying to be blasphemous. I'm like genuinely curious. Like nativity scenes are a big part of Christmas, so why are not Jesus resurrected scenes as big of a selling point for Easter? You know
Well,
what I mean?
probably now today because of the way they're attacking religion instead of just embracing it. I mean, we've got some stuff, and my mom observes Passover, and we're having ham and fish today for lunch and dinner, and she's been waiting to eat ice cream and chocolate for I don't know how long with Passover. She's like, today is the day I can have ice cream.
Oh, she gave that up for Lent,
Mm-hmm.
and Lent lasts 40 days.
Something like that.
Okay.
And so she still does that. My grandma used to observe everything. Both grandmas used to observe everything, and it wouldn't be Easter wouldn't be about the bunny hunt or the eggs. It would be about the religious aspect of it. You know,
Yeah, it was
but
always about the candy for me growing up.
yeah. Oh,
Finding the eggs.
TWTG content. Yeah, the hardest thing about watching my grandparents go was after they passed, my parents dividing everything up and selling it off so they can get as much money as possible, like a bunch of vultures. That is the worst thing ever that people do. You ain't entitled to crap, you know. Um, my family talked to me about it, and I said, I don't want anything from any of you. And they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, no, it's it's yours to do with whatever you want to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I helped my mom with a lot of her accounting, and I was sitting with her at her bank's office signing some paperwork, talking about where's stuff going to go after she passes. And I remember thinking in the back of my head, boy, this is going to be a big, wicked fight with my sisters. Hopefully it's years down the road, but
Yeah.
I just kind of remember thinking, like, oh boy, it's not going
Sorry
to be
about
pretty.
that. I hit the wrong button. But yeah, thinking about that, yeah. I'm gonna have to go. Our Easter lunch is ready.
No problem. Thank you.
Good to see you, Gap. Good to
Yeah, good to
talk with
see
you again.
everyone. Great
Thanks for
chat.
sharing all that stuff with your
Oh,
from
no
your
problem.
life.
I just hope it wasn't a downer for people, but
Oh, not at all.
I feel
I
uplifted.
I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I I just now you guys get to know more about the way I really am. I joke and I cut up and stuff, but this is really the way I really am. So it came out today how I really am. Um, so thanks for indulging me for yakking straight, because this is also a good day because I feel pretty good today. I have energy for once.
Good.
Usually I spend a lot of time in bed too, and it's so good to feel good today and for y'all to let me be who I am and let me run my mouth.
I appreciate you.
Well,
Absolutely.
likewise. All right. Well,
Thank
happy
you.
Easter thanks, Captain Trek. Happy Easter to everybody, and y'all have a good day. And it's silly, but be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So, Captain, how
Yes.
are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, thank you.
That's good. You feeling good today,
Yes, I
or
am.
at least not in too much pain. I hope. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I am. I am. I've been sitting here talking with Gap, and
Hmm.
it was I would say uplifting. This is actually
Yeah.
one stream I'm gonna have to rewatch
Yeah.
because it was like I know I was hearing stuff, processing it, and I'm going, okay, I know I missed something there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good when you can, go back and reflect and sometimes pause and
Exactly.
rewind and that kind of stuff to really fully take in what people are saying and the emotions that it's triggering in yourself. I agree, Tiki of Doom. I wish Bird would let other people get a word in. I know. He's such a yakkamouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What do you got planned for today?
Well, the family's gonna be for, and gonna the kids are gonna be doing a Easter egg hunt or whatever, and
Mm-hmm. Outside or inside?
inside
Okay.
they each have a room that they're going to be hunting in. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's how we used to do it when I was a kid. My sisters and I, we'd each get a room. I did it wasn't an Easter egg hunt. I made these, it was for my niece, and I bought her, excuse me, little presents, or I took candy and I put it in Ziploc bags and I hid them outside.
Hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. Had her look, she was probably around 6. So when she was, at the adorable age, now she's a teenager. So that was a lot of fun to watch her
Of
look
course,
for
that
all
would be
that.
fun.
And yeah.
Then
So.
of course you're having to go. Okay, is that everything?
I think I made a list because I didn't because I at the time I had dogs, and so I didn't want them finding, a bag of chocolate hidden under a bush or something like that.
Yeah,
So, yeah, or anybody else's animal, of course. So,
exactly.
yeah. This has been a good stream. I have not the last 24 hours have not been great. I've been feeling a little out of sorts, and this has been a nice reset for me.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate the invitation.
You're you're always welcome. You know that. I know you're not
Thank you.
always available, but you're always welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm always glad when you do a weekend stream because it's you get like a variety of people. We see our typical friends, which is awesome on the weekday mornings, but then on the
Hmm.
weekend it's like, wonder who's going to be there.
Yeah, and you never know
Yeah.
because
Little.
I mean there have been times that you know somebody like Tom will show up, or
Hmm.
um, I've had a couple other people show up that have been like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's a good time to invite people on
Or
who
Mexican
maybe
Iron Man, yeah,
couldn't make it, during the week.
yeah. And there are a few people that I'm talking to about having on a specialized stream
Hmm.
during the weekend because they're
Good.
not available during the week.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Mexican Iron Man, he's around in the corner and coming up the line drive for I'm mixing my metaphors, I know. But when is the final tax day? Tomorrow? Is it Monday?
tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to be slammed tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll probably be working until the last possible.
Oh yeah.
Filing extensions for people. Cuz I asked my accountant, I said, "What would happen if I wasn't sitting in your office today? What would happen if I called you the day of?" And she said, "Well, I would have called you 10 times a day before that, but if you didn't come into my office, then, we'd file an extension." And I said, "What would happen if I called you the day after tax day?" And she said, well, then you'd be up a creek. Because I don't know why. I put it off because it's an inconvenient. It's, I like my routine. I like not having to leave my house because I'm such an introvert. Such an introvert. That's what YouTube gives me, is companionship without having to drain all my energy, because I drain all of my energy when I'm at work because I have to put all of myself out there. All of my emotional energy is on my patients. And so when I get out of there, I don't want to interact. I want to just, hunker down. And so I don't like a change in my routine. So having to go to an appointment to deal with my taxes I don't love it. And I'm not smart enough to do it myself, so I'm more than happy to pay her to do it for me.
Geek here above us says, I've dropped it a few times. Captain Trek was one of the only people who actually let me on. Of course I let you on.
That Captain Trek is so generous with his airtime. He lets people come on. He invites people on. He puts his StreamYard link in the chat, which is so ballsy because you don't know what's going to show up on your channel. You really don't know.
No.
And, that is the generous spirit of Captain Trek. And I tell people frequently, if you want to get your feet wet going on a live stream, go on Captain Trek's channel. And he will, he'll help you out. He'll guide you through it. And
I appreciate that.
It's a very comfortable place for me to hang out, because I know that chat is cool and your panel's cool, and I can just be myself and not feel like I have to put on a show. Not that I really do on anybody else's channel, but I can it's just really relaxing here. It's relaxing to listen to and to be on.
And Geek here above us says, Captain Trek knows I go off on rants and likes having me on. Still likes having me on. Sorry, I've been busy as of late. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people have been busy as of late. And I know that, because I've heard from several of them, they're like, I wish I could be on more. It's like, I know. That's fine. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a good rant in a while. I don't know if I have anything to rant about. How about you, Captain?
No, I don't have anything to bring. Well, except my family. Don't get me wrong, I love them, and I am going to need to get going a little bit to spend some time with them.
Yeah.
But, there are times it gets a little frustrating. Like I'll be in the middle of doing something, and then one of the kids will pop in at the most ridiculous question.
That makes for good comedy, though, doesn't it?
Well, yes, it does. Well, Grandma said that this was in there. Okay, why are you coming in here to tell me that the peanut butter is on the middle shelf when I'm not in the kitchen?
Do you put a sign on the door saying I'm live streaming, leave me alone?
I ought to. I really ought to. Either that or get one of those little red lights and turn it on when I'm...
And then you could have maybe a sign out there that kind of gives them permission that if you need to interrupt, you may interrupt and I'll be there for you. Then maybe they'd be a little more respectful of your live streaming time. Or maybe not. Maybe they would... Maybe it would be like a moth to a flame.
Probably more like that.
They do it just to troll you.
That sounds more like my family, yeah. But no, Is there
Well, I
anything
don't
you
want to.
wanted to talk about? Six.
No, I have. No, I feel. I feel better, a lot better than when I first kind of woke up this morning. I've been kind of bummed about yesterday, and I feel a lot better.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm so glad that everybody's been here. It's been so nice to actually see what's everybody's talking about.
Hmm.
Um, I just I like that meta guide. Six needs to voice audiobooks. Great voice for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Meadow Guide. And no, Resolute Germ, I'm not going to rant about the government because that's not the kind of channel that Captain Trek has here.
This is true. I usually don't talk about politics, except saying that they're all corrupt. Um, I
Yeah,
don't care what political party. Oh Lord, that's as far as into politics as I go.
yeah, yeah, I'm not. I'm interested in politics, but I'm not interested in discussing it, especially on
Yeah,
YouTube.
exactly. Uh, Germ. Oh, oh, God.
Amen.
Yeah. Trust me, if you've heard trust me, Germ has heard him when uh, I've had him backstage, or I've been backstage with him, and you know, stream was over, and I unmuted when the kids were being noisy. It was like, oh my,
Hmm.
how do you deal with that?
I don't like children as a rule, but not once have your nieces or your nephews.
Nephews, great nephews,
Yeah,
actually.
they've never once bothered me when I've listened to your show.
Well, I'm glad
So
to hear
don't ever think that they're a pain in the butt, because if it doesn't bother me, then it's not a big deal.
that. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. I'll make sure not to tell them that. Um,
But I don't want to keep you. You said you're going to be doing family stuff, and that's cool. I'm glad for you.
yeah, I am going to be doing some family stuff. Bert, are you going to be streaming later? I don't know if he's available to talk or not. I know he talked about streaming later. Um, so keep an eye out for that. Um, that would be this afternoon.
Yeah.
But hopefully, Tom does another Mead Radio soon.
Maybe. You never know.
You can
You
always
never know.
you can always talk to him about it.
I, I have talked to him. Yeah, we were talking about Mead Radio. We got some stuff planned,
Awesome.
and trying to get some. We're gonna be doing some polls in the Midnight's Edge Discord, and the Midnight's Edge Gilded is going to be starting up pretty quick. So
Cool.
keep an eye out for that. I will hopefully have that ready to go, and I'll start posting the link to that on Midnight's Edge tomorrow at noon Eastern. I'll hopefully have it ready to go.
Awesome.
I'm kind of like testing it.
Yeah. Testing is always good.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I always have my schedule where I go on, And then depending on what's going on, I either listen to Loki or I'm streaming myself.
Mm-hmm.
I then listen to Culture Casino and Midnight's Edge later on. So that's always part of the plan. And it's like there have been a couple of days. It's like, well, shit, Midnight's Edge is not today till later. But no, thank you for coming on 6. It's been nice.
Thank you.
And I wish I could get Black Rifle to sponsor me. That would be fun.
What? I've never heard of them.
They're expensive coffee company.
Oh.
And since I've been asked, just a second, where the heck is it at? Here we go. And we got coffee.
Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
4th, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula.
I like that.
There are a few people I know who like that, yeah.
I don't even like coffee, but I like that.
And of course, as usual, 47 Yorktown comes in with hashtag Janeway did nothing wrong. But again, I do want to thank everybody for being here. It's always fun to stream and have people join in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get going, spend some time with family, and then I'll be on later. So thank you again. You all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.